have discarded the notion that there will be one thing, one person, or one circumstance that will change the world forever. Instead, I believe in emergence, like a flock of birds or a school of fish that changes direction simultaneously. But you may ask, who's leading in that moment? The truth is, everybody does. It's a bottom-up phenomena, and sharing the same consciousness, drawn by a potential in the future and ready to leave old patterns and limitations behind, they are changing towards a new direction. And this is exactly the feeling that I get being here at the second SAREP conference with all of you, sharing your unique ideas, products, and services. Welcome everybody. My name is Anne-Sophie, and today I will be representing the Deutsche Bodenhilfsstoffgesellschaft. What we bring forward for the greater good is our sustainably produced soil improver and conditioner Agrobiogel with enormous water storage and soil enhancement capacities. Matthias Krug, Erich Münch, Jürgen Heisner, and Thomas Haas are the visionary founders of the Deutsche Bodenhilfsstoffgesellschaft, all forest owners themselves. Now their deeply rooted desire to protect their own forest that they have had for generations in Germany has led them to a greater vision, that is, to the creation of the Deutsche Bodenhilfsstoffgesellschaft. Now, forest decline and transformation has been a huge topic, not only in Germany, but also worldwide. But with every crisis comes a call, a strong call, and a strong potential for true change. And we have exactly found this. We have found that potential in our product, Agrobiogel, and we are very grateful to have a close relationship with its patent holder and creator, Professor Gibson. Now, in my universities, my professors usually used to say, Anne-Sophie, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, then go together. And together we are making significant positive impact in the arid zones of North Africa and the Middle East. With Agrobiogel, agricultural soils produce higher yields with less water. Not only do we save precious drinking water with that, but we also reduce CO2 emissions. We are deeply committed as well to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, focusing on the preservation and reforestation of forests. Our product has also sparked interest on the political level, and currently we are very pleased to announce that we are working on subsidy projects or programs, options for forest owners to help them nourish their soil life and soil health when they are using Agrobiogel. Here you can see a photo that has been taken in one of our trial fields in Baden-Württemberg, basically the team of the Deutsche Bodenhilfsstoffgesellschaft and the Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Peter Haug. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to a short video about Agrobiogel by no one else presented other than the creator and patent holder himself, Professor Gibson.
Agriculture accounts for more than 70% of all global fresh water use. In addition, 3/4 of the world's farmers rely entirely on rain-fed agriculture. Constant droughts are seriously affecting their livelihoods and threatening world food security. A team of biotechnologists at the University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences, Vienna, has developed a groundbreaking new hydrogel that has the potential to change agriculture around the world. Team leader Gibson Nyanongo managed to develop a novel biohydrogel based entirely on natural raw materials.
Here I have some plants where we demonstrate the effects of the hydrogel. These plants have been under stress for the past 4 weeks. We stopped watering them until to this day. And as you can see, these plants here are dying, that is the plants without the hydrogel, and those with the hydrogel are still really looking okay.
Hydrogels are polymeric materials that have the ability to absorb huge amounts of water and slowly release it to the soil. As a result, they can be used to store water during rain periods and later release it to enable crops to survive droughts. Biohydrogel also helps farmers save up to 40% of irrigation water by reducing the watering frequency, thereby further helping to overcome drought periods. But biohydrogel is more than just a water absorption and storage material. It also functions as a soil conditioner that traps and thereby reduces the loss of agrochemicals like fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides. This means biohydrogel not only decreases agricultural costs, but also helps prevent environmental pollution. While soils mixed with hydrogel are able to absorb and store 95% of received water, soils without hydrogel typically lose over 50% of their moisture.
Our hydrogel enables farmers in those arid regions of the world to convert their soils into agriculture productive soils. It enhances, improves the soil fertility. It increases microbial activity and therefore enriching the soil. Furthermore, this hydrogel is 100% biodegradable. This specific hydrogel of ours is coming from wood. When it degrades over time, it becomes humus. We can convert degraded soils, unproductive soils, even sand soils into agriculture productive soils.
We are proud to announce that we are the very first 100% organic wood-based hydrogel. With Agrobiogel, we can protect plants from droughts. We save up to 20 to 40% of irrigation water, reduce fertilizer and nutrient washout, and convert, as Gibson has said, non-productive soils into productive soils in agriculture. Currently, we are registered under the Austrian fertilizer regulation under the category soil conditioner. We are certified with EasyCert, BioCert, BioAustria, Natur im Garten, and we are currently also on the EU FIBl list, certified in Germany and in Spain, with more countries to follow. Agrobiogel is made out of lignin, the most robust component of timber, and a natural byproduct of the paper industry. Gibson innovatively has transformed lignin into a high valuable product. Now, through an enzymatic process, the structure of lignin is broken down and reorganized into a three-dimensional structure, which gives Agrobiogel its unique abilities for its water retention and absorption characteristics. But not only does it absorb and retain water, Agrobiogel also improves the soil structure. Now, on the top right picture, you can see the soil untreated and treated with Agrobiogel. And what we notice is that compared to the untreated soil, the soil with Agrobiogel is less dense, it is darker and more porous, and especially the dark color of the soil indicates a higher nutrient availability, higher water absorption, and just higher microbial activity. Now, what's very unique about Agrobiogel is its incredible duration across various conditions. Now, it can be used in soils from a pH ranging from 4 to 9, and it still lasts for 5 up to 7 years in the soil. It decreases to humus after 10 years in the soil, and you still have 90% of its original activity in the soil after 3 years of application. Now let's have a look at some experiments, some practical experiments. Now let's have a look how agrobiogel has an effect on the roots. Now on this very left picture, you can see two plants. They have not been separated in the middle. So left you have the untreated plant and right you have the treated plant. Actually, agrobiogel was placed in the bottom right corner. And what we can see here or observe is a positive chemotactic response to the agrobiogel from the roots. And as you can beautifully see, the roots, they just notice there's something really good down there, so they just grow and spread towards agrobiogel. Now, on the second picture, we are looking especially on fine root development. Now, these two plants, they have been physically separated in the middle, and when we look at the plant on the right, it has been treated with agrobiogel. We just see a lot more root development happening here, and especially fine root development. And now a very interesting experiment that has been conducted with an Austrian tree nursery. Now, what we look here at the very right picture is just superior plant development. The very right plant has been treated with agrobiogel, and as you can see, plant development is just superior as well as the root development. Now, the conclusion for this business owner of the tree nursery was that he can use now with agrobiogel 3-liter pots in sales for his plants instead of 5-liter pots and save costs because these results were just very extreme and very remarkable. When we look at some more free field experiments, here we see the results of a tree nursery using agrobiogel in Granada, Spain. Now these are almond trees, and almonds, they are very water intensive. Now, here they have been watered with only 70% of water, the control and the left pot with agrobiogel. However, per plant on the left side, the plants were given 100 grams of agrobiogel. And what we can see here is that even with the reduced water supply, we have really superior or just very enhanced, strong plant development with agrobiogel compared to the control. Another beautiful example is here. These are new planted pears in Spain, and this is on extreme sandy soil. Now, while they have been receiving the same amount of water, on the left side, you can see the plants treated with agrobiogel. And this time, 150 gram agrobiogel per plant was given. And again, here we can see just very great plant development, more leaves, more branches, and they just look much more developed compared to the control. Now, this experiment was part of a master thesis, and Professor Dr. Löbmann from the University of Kiel was so kind and has provided us with this experiment and also has provided us with the notes. This master thesis has not been published yet. Now, on this exciting experiment, this experiment shows the effect that agrobiogel has on, in this case, summer wheat cultivation during drought, specifically looking at enzymatic activity. Now, in this controlled research-run experiment, a drought was initiated at BBCH 37. And this stage in summer wheat is very crucial because yield component starts to develop. And you don't want to usually mess up in that stage. You want to make sure your plant has everything that it needs. Now, this drought was lasting for 27 days. And before and after, a soil semography was conducted, specifically looking at the activity of acid phosphatases. And I'm going to lead you through the results right now. So when we have a look at the 4 pictures at the bottom left, these are the control pictures. And on the right, we have the products with agrobiogel, or the soil enhanced and improved with agrobiogel. Now you can see underneath at the bottom, these are the soil pictures, and then at the top you see like blue screens, and these are the soil simography. Let's have a look at the control first. So on the left side, you can see the soil simography in the soil before the drought was initiated. Let's have a look at the soil first. So we can see the soil is kind of dark. We see root development here. It looks good. It looks fine. Now at the top, we see the soil simography. This picture looks a little bit different as they had to adjust the scale to make the acid phosphatase visible. Now, what we see here now, and thanks to the notes, we can say that it has a relatively high activity in the control soil. Now, when we look at after the drought, we see that the soil looks very white, that root growth has been hampered, and that there's just very low activity in the control soil. Now, let's move on to the right four pictures. When we look at the soil first that has been improved with Agrobiogel, first of all, we can already see that the soil is much, much darker compared to the control. And we can see beautiful root development here. When we look at the soil simography above, we can see very strong phosphatase activity, especially at the root tips. Now, after the drought, when we look at the soil again, it is very interesting to see that purely from the color, it already looks as good, at least, as the control soil before the drought was initiated. Now, just keep in mind that this is after the drought. We still see very strong root development, so this has not been hampered at all. And when we look at the soil simography, we can see a stabilized enzyme activity. And as I said already, a very strong root development. Now, the effect of Agrobiogel was visibly the most during the drought since these enzyme activities were stabilized by the gel, whereas in the control soil, the phosphatase were dramatically reduced during the prolonged drought. Now, as a summary, we can say that Agrobiogel protects plants from drought stress. It saves up water, precious drinking water too. It reduces leaching of fertilizers. It increases soil properties. It is 100% biodegradable. There's no microplastic involved at all. It's purely made out of lignin. It is registered for conventional and organic farming, and it is many years active in the soil, which makes it a perfect companion for supporting plants in the long run. Why using Agrobiogel in the SAREP project? Well, these are our top 6 arguments. First of all, Agrobiogel helps to the increase of carbon intake into the desert soil. It builds up humus in the long term. It activates soil life, especially microorganisms. It reduces nutrient washout, and it has potential to extend irrigation intervals even longer, which leads to a greater water efficiency. Now, coming here is somehow coming back full circle. This journey has started with Professor Gibson coming all the way from Zimbabwe, his home country, to Austria, where he developed Agrobiogel. His dream has always been to help African farmers to combat the drought and soil degradation. And his dream is to make Agrobiogel available to African farmers so they can apply it and save their soil. Now, we are very grateful to be part of this vision and to even expand this vision worldwide. So thank you so much for being here with us as we take another great step towards the future. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your presence and attention.